The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics. This week I am Dale Jackson. Mecca Music is still not here. God knows what she's doing. But Yaffe is filling in for her. We're both talk show hosts. You can hear our shows on WVNN in Huntsville. And I have a show on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham. You can hear those every day, Monday through Friday. We got a lot to talk about here today. Cameron Smith will be with us from AL.com. And then I'll have a parting shot for you at the end of the show. But right now, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Yaffe, you were here filling in on the last show of 2023 and the first show of 2024. So it's probably time to ask you what you think is coming here in 2023. Excuse me, in 2024. I write it on the checks forever wrong the same way. All right, Yaffe, let's talk about this without saying school choice and gambling, because those are going to be the two things that we want to talk about here in Alabama. What do you think is coming down the pipe here for Alabama politics this year?
You took my two things.
I took your two. I knew it.
I have no idea.
That's
is there something else that's supposed to happen?
No. Because that is everything that people are talking about right now.
It really
in the last week, you have seen the Senate Majority Leader, the Lieutenant Governor, Eagle Forum of Alabama, the Alabama Policy Institute. Anyone that is talking about school choice and gambling. The Alabama Democratic Party came out already pushing very hard against school choice. RSA, the Alabama School Board Association, all these different groups are making it pretty clear they're terrified of the school choice conversation. They have been holding back the dam from breaking, and I think this is the year that happens. Is this the Alabama story? The gambling thing, I don't think is happening. That's just me. But is the school choice thing this year?
I hope so. I mean, I've been pushing for it. You've been pushing for it. To me, there's really no excuse other than they kind of water it down. That's what I'm really worried about, is that they water it down just a little bit too much, and it becomes school choice light, or doesn't even look like school choice. But other than that, I don't know. Unless they try to tie gambling into school choice somehow, which is possible. I just hope it gets done and it doesn't look like some kind of other monster that isn't really school choice.
Yeah, I think that is probably right. Now let's talk nationally here for a second. Let's talk about this. I had mentioned last week, 2023, 2024, it's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be Trump, Biden. And also, I've gone on record as saying I don't think Trump can win a general election. I just don't think he can. The poll numbers say he can. They're trying to remove him from the ballot. I think that helps him. We'll talk about the ballot fight here in just a second. With Trump on the ballot, can Republicans take back the Senate?
I think it's possible. A lot of it depends on Democrat turnout. I see Trump getting the exact amount of votes he got last time. So it's all dependent on if Democrats still hate Trump enough to show up to vote, or if they're just like, well, Biden's terrible too, and they don't show up. Okay. That's what all of this depends on.
I mean, Biden is made it clear that he's going to turn around and make this about Donald Trump being un-American. I mean, that's essentially
against democracy.
Right,
all of
yeah.
that.
He hates democracy and stuff like that, so he's got to be removed from the ballot or people might vote for him. I don't know. That's a weird argument, but that is essentially what they're saying. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about protests. And we are seeing protests getting out of hand in this country. And it's happening here in the state of Alabama. And it's happening across the country. Everybody knows this is America. We have the First Amendment right to protest, redress grievance to the government, get out there and do everything that you want to do to make your voice be heard. Does that mean you can do it at all times, no matter what? There are no restrictions? No, I can't go to the White House, kick the gate down, walk into the residence and start screaming at Joe Biden when he says, hey, shut up. I go, free speech. I can do whatever I want, say whatever I want. It just can't be done. We are seeing this with the blocking of roads, shutting down of airports. In Decatur, they've had a big problem outside of the mayor's house. He is such a coward that he has allowed them to basically run over his entire neighborhood. Now he's trying to reassert some authority, and they're showing up at the meeting, pointing in his face and saying, the boys in blue cannot protect you, and you're going to have a much bigger problems than people screaming in your yard. Have we gone too far?
Oh, absolutely. You know, when January 6th happened, I remember a lot of people were saying, well, that's just how Trump voters are. It's insurrection. And I'm like, look, this started with George Floyd 2020. This started there are a lot of different protests going way too far, riots going way too far. That's on all sides, and it's something as a country we need to deal with, but we don't want to because we want to point fingers to each side.
Well, let me point fingers here because, like you just did there, I mean, I think it's pretty clear when we saw things get out of hand with the BLM and the George Floyd and the stuff like that. There should have been a reining back of that. Instead, what happened was you saw a bunch of people sue that they were arrested, and cities just settled with them and gave them money, incentivizing this. In Decatur, I think that's what's happening. They got some of the worst attorneys you've ever seen over there making arguments that make absolutely no sense constitutionally. There can be restrictions on time and place. Everybody knows that. But if you file a lawsuit, you can potentially get a settlement. I think that's what they're going for there. That's going to be a mess in Decatur. Does that stop this year, or does it get worse as we get closer to an election?
Oh, it gets worse.
Okay.
Absolutely, because of everything you said. They're not trying to stop it. They're not doing what needs to be done to actually stop this problem. So it's just going to grow and grow.
For people who are listening, I remind you might want to watch out. Decatur is a powder keg. It is close to having some serious problems. You're going to learn more about that when that finally pops off, because it's been pretty contentious over there, and I think it's going to work its way into the national media coverage here eventually. All right, let's talk about this ballot fight. This is the thing that I keep hearing from my audience on both of my radio shows and elsewhere. When are Republicans going to fight back? You saw the Texas lieutenant governor say, hey, maybe we'll remove Joe Biden from the ballot. It's an interesting argument to make, but I don't really think they can swing it. But I don't think many people think that the Maine Secretary of State can swing it, or Colorado or Oregon, that's saying we can't do anything in the primary, but in the general, we'll try to do something there. She didn't say those exact words, but she hinted that in the general, there's more leeway. I believe there's 11 different states considering some form of a ballot challenge. They're all against Donald Trump. Will we see a serious attempt to remove Joe Biden from a Republican state? Is that going to be the winner Republicans going to fight back thing? And I don't like that framing personally, because I just, what they're doing is wrong, and I don't think doing wrong in response is a good idea.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, it's like, that's one way to put it when you have a 5-year-old. But yeah, okay. So will Republicans fight back? Will one state actually try to remove Trump from the ballot?
I think it all depends on the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court decides not to rule on this, or they come in and actually side with Colorado, then Republicans will have to play another hand. But right now they're kind of waiting because they want to accuse Democrats of going against the rule of law. And be like, Democrats did this, they're taking away democracy, the Supreme Court agrees with us.
I haven't heard a lot about this, but a member of Congress said Democrats seem to not understand. The House of Representatives still counts the votes. The implication there being that we could be back in a conversation about who gets to make the decisions on what electoral votes count and all this other stuff will be interesting to see, because I think they forget that Kamala Harris will be the one standing there when all of this goes down. Will they fight back that way?
Possibly. Like I said, it all depends on the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court weighs in one way, the Republicans will just let the Supreme Court do it. If they don't, then all bets are off.
Okay, something bad could happen. All right, let's talk about the border here. And this is something that I'm not going to say it bores me, because that's not true. But I don't see a path forward on any of this. All the money Joe Biden is asking for is to speed up the process of bringing people through. You ask Alejandro Mayorkas, who has been impeached under questionable grounds, what exactly the issue is at the border, and he says climate change. You ask Karine Jean-Pierre, why is the administration suing Texas for putting up concertina wire and buoys out there and arresting people? They said, well, we don't know, but it's making our job harder. And none of this makes any sense, but that's the argument. Republicans say, build the wall, stop people from coming in. This week we saw Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, a bunch of Republicans and the Republican delegation standing down there. We're like 30 feet away. People are swimming across the river and entering into the country. They are so far apart on a deal. There's no deal to be had. I mean, I don't even understand what a deal would look like. What does that even look like? We'll give you money for Ukraine. We'll give you money for Israel. You build the wall. And they say, no.
That should be the deal. Maybe not build the wall specifically. I get Democrats will never do that. But real border security, real immigration reform.
Like to repel.
Yeah, to repel.
Okay.
Not what you were saying. The Biden administration wants to process them faster.
Yeah, process people faster.
I mean, some kind of real border security, and say we had to make a compromise for Ukraine. And the majority of the American people do not like what's going on at the border. So you would think Biden would jump on board with this, but I'm guessing the leftist base of the Democrat Party, they're really just out of touch with what the majority of the country wants here.
Mo Brooks has said this. I've been saying this for a while. Gary Palmer said it today. Made the argument that the census, the next go around on the census, 2030, will look very different because if we're counting everyone, and they had this battle during the Trump years, if you count everyone who's come into the country and you assign elected representation because of that, California, Texas, New York now, and Illinois, they're going to pick up bodies in Congress over this because they are actually having people sent there. So a lot of people argue, well, we should just count citizens or voters or something like that. Well, that's been tied up 15 different ways. The end result is going to be a federal court saying, no, count everybody, even if they can't vote. Is that part of the plan?
I'm starting to think so. I'm actually really glad you brought it up, Mo Brooks, Gary Palmer, because every time I would hear Democrat mayors talk about this issue, they didn't want to actually solve the problem. They didn't want to actually secure the border. So I'm like, what do they really want here? They admit there's a problem.
Yeah.
They want more people to come. They just want help housing them. They want to expand the welfare state. And I think they want more voters. So that's why they're willing to go along with a lot of this.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Mayor Adams in New York and the guy who's got Brandon something or another.
Brandon Johnson.
There you go. In Chicago. You don't hear them saying, get these guys the hell out of here.
Right.
You don't hear that. It's give us money so we can deal with it, which is the same thing they're doing at the border, saying give us money not to stop them, but so we can welcome more of them in. And Mayorkas bragged today or earlier this week that they were processing more people than ever. Like it was a good thing. And I was like, wow,
they are so out of touch.
It's a pretty positive spin. I don't know if they even believe that stuff, but hey, they're processing it the way they're processing. All right, let's take a quick time out here. When we come back, we'll talk with Cameron Smith, Mail.com. Yaffe's in for Mecca. I'm Dale Jackson. You're watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. My friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Well, welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson, filling in for Mecca Music. It is Yaffe, and our guest this week is Cameron Smith. He's a columnist at AL.com, a regular guest on my radio shows, and we always appreciate him coming on the program and speaking with us. Cameron, I want to start with something that may be a little off the wall. Jeffrey Epstein. I've never thought this story was going to be, hey, here's a list of guys that banged 12-year-olds. I never thought that's what the list was going to be. But that is exactly how everybody framed this thing until the day before it came out. Then it comes out, and we get Bill Clinton's a creep. Donald Trump knew him, never went to his island or anything like that or flew on his plane, but he knew him. And that's about it. What was it? This has been a long, drawn-out nothing, or is there more?
There may be more information released, but mostly it's stuff we already knew. And I never thought that there would be a situation where it would be, oh, here's the inventory of celebrity sex traffickers. Because if that were the case, the law enforcement, Department of Justice, others would have already gone after them. So I think the idea that there's a cabal of the elites who knowingly engaged in crimes that are just scot-free, but for released depositions, doesn't hold water with me.
Yeah, and you're a legal mind here, so this stuff that we're seeing is questions they were asking and people answered them. It's not really fact-finding. And what I mean by that is they use these things in civil matters, and I don't know how much of this was criminal, but then they could pursue it in criminal matters, but nobody did. Now, that just feeds the conspiracy, right?
Yeah, but prosecutors make these decisions all the time. They look at the evidence and they say, hey, can I build a case here that will hold water in front of a jury? And then I'm not embarrassed to take to a grand jury first to say, hey, there's enough here. Because like you said, somebody's testimony in a civil trial is far different than, mounds of evidence in a criminal trial. It's a different standard of proof. And so I'm not saying what happened here wasn't horrific. It wasn't awful. It's just simply the standard for a prosecutor to look at and see what's there, when did these events occur, what can I reasonably prove now, is a question that they have to answer.
So tell me, why do you think everyone is so obsessed with this story? It seemed to be even beyond our political news world. Is it just one of those stories that just gets a lot of attention because there's a lot of different angles, or what?
Celebrity pedophile sex island? I mean, I kind of get why it's sensational that these are the elites traveling to a island to go do bad things with underage women. Yeah, I get why it gets attention, and there's enough there to say, yeah, that did in fact happen. But the idea that Donald Trump, Jimmy Kimmel, the names that have just been batted about, we're all kind of in on it. Man, that's a high standard of proof, and you want to be dang sure that somebody is a pedophile trafficker before you accuse them of that.
Exactly right. I mean, I'll answer Yaffe's question too. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people we like might be on this list and people we hate might be on this list, and it could be used that way. Let's move back to the state of Alabama here for a second. I've asked every attorney I've spoken to this week this question. Free speech, we always say, oh, I'm a free speech absolutist. I like to believe that I am, but I also know that I can't go to the White House and yell at Joe Biden. So therefore, my free speech has been infringed on. telling someone they can't scream outside the mayor's house for weeks on end in Decatur, is that an infringement on their free speech?
So free speech, you can generally have restrictions consistent with time, place, and manner, but not content. And so somebody screaming at all hours of the night, it's reasonable to have a regulation that says, hey, we're going to afford you an opportunity to occupy this public space, scream your piece and say it, but you can't do it at 3 a.m. and disrupt the public peace. That's the kind of thing that you could probably do. This is the kind of thing that ends up getting litigated because they are close calls. And when you're dealing with a politician or public figure, speech protections are typically at their highest point. So I think you can go with time, place, and manner on something like that. I think you got to be careful how you do it.
I think the extreme of all this, though, is like when they're blocking traffic. Is there going to be like a backlash to a lot of this where people are like, okay, we're all for protests, but when you start blocking traffic and doing stuff like that, there needs to be some accountability here?
Yeah, I wholly agree because so that's a perfect example of a time, place, and manner restriction that says you can say whatever you want in public, but we have laws that say you can't walk on the highway because it's extremely dangerous. So if you block that highway, it doesn't matter what you say, it's still against the law, and that's not an infringement on your First Amendment speech because you're not entitled to speak wherever you want, whenever you want. That's what the Supreme Court's basically said over time is, time, place, and manner restrictions are reasonable if they're equally applied. And, some of them it's a judgment call. But then the content, no, you can't regulate the content. And that's the big one that is the courts look for is, are you telling them what they can and can't say? Or are you simply saying your opportunity to say this thing is during these hours and in these locations because we want the public to be safe?
Yeah, I think what's happened here is, and we've seen it all over the place, and you mentioned the roads, and we saw the airports in New York earlier this week. I think that the road situation has gotten a little out of control. But here's the question, Cameron. We're going to answer this quickly. The city of Decatur has allowed this stuff to go on for months. Now they're trying to rein it in. You have people showing up at the city council meeting, sticking their finger in the mayor's face, telling him the blood will be on your doorstep. Your cops are not able to protect you. All these things. Now they're trying to rein it in. Does that open them up to more problems because they've allowed it to go on?
Well, I think it undermines your government purpose. I mean, for the government to say we're reining this in and it's an absolute necessity. Well, is it if you allowed it to go on for a very long time, or was it something people started to say that you decided you didn't like and now you're doing it? Because if you do it that way, now it looks a lot more like a content restriction than a time, place, or manner restriction behind a very reasonable government purpose.
Yeah, I keep mentioning this. There's a time bomb sitting over there in Decatur, and it is about to go off. It's going to be pretty ugly. It's going to be a pretty ugly scene, and I think we're going to be talking a lot about it. Could be wrong. Hope that I am, but I don't think I am. Cameron Smith, AL.com. Appreciate you being here. Yaffe filling in for Mecca. Luckily, he's leaving, so the show's going to get a lot better right here. We'll be right back on Alabama Politics This Week.
Want fun, safe, intelligent fitness programming? Want to build muscular strength, cardiovascular endurance, drastically improved range of motion and mobility, and learn proper nutrition to fuel your life with energy and emotional health? Well, come find out why Iron Tribe Fitness is ranked one of the top 5 fitness programs in America. Come find out why personal training and intentionally working on your current movement patterns individually is not only important, it's just another core value that separates Iron Tribe Fitness from other fitness facilities.
To learn how to get your 2-week free pass, go to irontribefitness.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. My friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call. Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation. You can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, but you've got to call now. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. Thank you for being here. Before we jump in to the parting shot, let me remind you, head on over to yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, right there at yellowhammernews.com. You go there, you sign up for my email blast, you can read Yaffe's columns, you can watch my videos, you can do all sorts of stuff there. Keep yourself up to date on all the things going on inside the great state of Alabama. And their football coverage is pretty good, too. yellowhammernews.com. We didn't even talk about that. Maybe we should have. Anyway, we'll wait till Mecca gets back from wherever she is. I know she went to the Rose Bowl. We'll discuss that with her maybe next week. But right now, let's go ahead and get to that parting shot. My parting shot this week is directed at everybody that took the situation with Tommy Tuberville being swatted, I think, a little too lightly. This is a serious thing, and I've been following swatting for a long time because it all started, and this isn't the only time it's ever happened, but it became prevalent in the video game community. And what people would do is they would get mad at people, they'd dox them, they'd find their address, and then they would try to send law enforcement to people's houses saying there's someone here with a gun. They have already shot my family, and now I'm going to shoot somebody else, hoping law enforcement would run in, guns a-blazing, and somebody would die. There's no other way to put it. That is what the goal of this is. The goal is to get either Tommy Tuberville or someone in his family either killed or hurt, or maybe someone with law enforcement killed or hurt as well. It's terrorism, okay? It's attempted murder. That's what these things are. And we need to start treating it like this. And yeah, some states have, and they've decided they're going to put some real penalties on these things because people have died in these situations. They got to track these people down. And it's going to be hard to do because there's a lot of spoofing software and sending stuff elsewhere. I get all of that. But when you find these people, you've got to nail these people because this is terrorism. And this is attempted murder. And we got to make sure that we don't treat this lightly. We have to be serious about it. And we've seen it on all sides of the aisle. We have. The mayor of Boston was swatted. Marjorie Taylor Greene swatted just like Tommy Tuberville was on Christmas. So find those terrible people and punish them to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week. We'll be back next week, full strength, no Yaffe. Mecca Music will be here, so don't worry about that. Thanks for watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week.
WVNN is the only radio station of relevance in North Alabama with the most live and local talk you'll find anywhere. Start your day with the Dale Jackson Show every morning at 5 a.m., followed by the Yaffe program at 9. Dan Bongino is up at 11. Right Side Radio starts your afternoons at 2. And Mark Levin takes you home at 5 p.m. It's the best news talk anywhere. And it's only on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN.